Nikki, thanks for taking time out of your busy day and joining me and having a chat.
Hey, no problem, Nate. It's my pleasure, honestly. I'm very happy to join you.
So, a quick background about who you are in the NFT space, because I'm sure people have seen your name pop up in servers, on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Can you give people a background about who you are and kind of how you kind of fit into the NFT space?
Yeah, I guess I would just call myself the middleman. I've worked myself into a position essentially through working through a bunch of different projects, working with the influencers to put myself in the middle of the projects and the influencers for collaborations for whitelist spots.
So, what is your background? Where did that kind of come from? So, before the NFT space?
So before I got into NFTs, I was a partial owner in a marketing agency. I ran the web department. I've been in crypto since 2016, and then NFTs started popping up, and I'm like, why do I want to buy that monkey now?
So when it comes down to NFTs, was there a particular project or a particular kind of NFT itself that was like the tipping point or the catalyst for you kind of going, okay, this is it?
Yes, there actually was a point. So through a little bit of testing, a little bit of rug pulls, I found a project that I was super passionate about, and I just offered to volunteer to just help out in any way possible. I started with a little bit of mod experience, and then they expanded my rollout, and I was working almost full time in the space. And that's the one that really kicked the doors down for me.
So you said that was kind of like that was the first door that kind of opened and got you into it essentially kind of full time. What did that then lead you into? Like, can you kind of walk through the story of that point to then fast forward to here?
The doors that really opened through working with a project was reaching out to influencers to start. So very first guy I reached out to was Crypto Gorilla. I found him around 1 to 2,000 subscribers, reached out to him, worked something out with the project and him to get some coverage. And then from there on, it was just kind of a domino effect of being introduced to different influencers, different projects, and just building up a huge network of people that, you build relationships with, and they like you for who you are. And that's more valuable than getting stuff out of them.
So I guess where are you kind of moving to now, and where are you kind of shifting your focus when it comes down to the NFT space?
Since I kind of dove headfirst into the space and really put everything into it, it's kind of my full-time thing now. A year from now, I can see OG Studios being one of the biggest NFT and Web3 agencies in the entire space. And then hopefully NickyG has a brand of his own alongside of the OG Studios.
What was the kind of reason for jumping in and doing some YouTube sort of stuff in general, and just kind of like putting your face out there and kind of jumping in and trying to give YouTube a go?
So this is a little funny because I've always actually loved being in front of the camera, and very big character, some people would say. I've hidden a lot of YouTube videos that used to be on my channel that you can't see anymore. But you know what? Being in the space, talking to everybody and seeing the influencers and how, excited they get about different things, I really wanted to, bring myself out in that space again and try to give YouTube another crack. And you know what? It's been a blast.
So I guess kind of without trying to play favorites, who do you kind of look up to within the NFT space? Now, they don't need to be huge dudes, they don't even need to be kind of small dudes. Who do you kind of look at and you just kind of like kind of vibing with, hanging out with, or that people may not know is just like a mad kind of sleeper personality within the space?
So I can choose a couple of people for this, and there's just so many great people in the space, and I don't want to sound cliche or anything, but one of my best friends, and I can call him my best friend in the space because like we talk almost every day, call each other, hang out, and actually talk like real life other than NFTs. But Crypto Gorilla has been a huge influence. He was kind of like pushing the pen for me to actually get into the space and start recording myself. He's like, dude, you already do everything that we do, you just don't record yourself. So he was a huge push for that. And then everybody that I've met has been so positive, so I can't really say anything bad about anybody.
So when it comes down to the NFT space, you've got a lot of kind of artists, programmers, sort of tech dudes, but I feel like there is a space for those that have those soft skills, those people that are sort of community managers and essentially like influencers like myself. How could someone go about actually making a career out of NFTs without having to just flip NFTs or make art or program?
Yeah, I like to call this the person without the skills, but with all the skills. And there's actually a lot of ways to do that. And community managing is one way that people really can work themselves into the space and actually make a good amount for themselves by doing that. It's one of the reasons I started my alpha group, was to train people and teach them different tips and tricks of how to become moderators, how to market yourself in front of projects, to give off the impression that exactly how to manage their communities.
So touching on the fact that someone can actually kind of make a living out of being sort of a moderator, community manager, that kind of thing, how does the actual sort of payments work, and how does someone actually kind of get paid? Because I'm sure that's kind of like the elephant in the room when someone thinks about jumping in and doing that and not knowing how it works. Because it's not like a job where you just get paid weekly into your bank account. It's like it's a different kind of experience altogether.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk, to say the least. You're working for quite a long time on these projects, especially as you're building up hype for the project as a community manager. Your job is the entire community. You have a team of moderators under you, and you're putting a lot out there for a longer period of time without getting paid. And the reason I say that is because normally the way that it works for most community managers is being paid in like equity percentage in the initial mint. That's what I've experienced. That's what I've talked to people who've experienced it. And just that's the way it's kind of went. Now for moderator positions, it's a little bit different. They get paid in mints normally for the project, and moderators are normally volunteer roles, so they get paid in the mints and whitelist spots, kind of OG spots, and they're more than happy to accept that payment. I've heard of companies and projects paying moderators weekly a certain set amount, actually in ETH, sent directly to your wallet address of your choice. And those are the projects that you can see that they really care about treating people nicely and treating their team members properly so that they give them the best amount of work that they can.
So I guess the kind of takeaway from that is that if you get into it, it can be risk. So it's like high risk, high reward for most projects, because if you're actually going hard, managing the community, doing outreach, getting these connections, building up hype, you can then sell out a $2 million project and you're going to be sitting on like a decent kind of essentially commission on the back end because you've worked really hard. But if you don't put in those hours, you may kind of flounder around and you would have been better off working at McDonald's.
Yeah, and just to draw from my experience doing it, like I had a full-time job while I was managing a community and working on partnerships for a project. I was putting in 18, almost 19-hour days sometimes, like between my full-time job and the NFT thing, because I really wanted to create a strong community. And ultimately it paid off. In the end, selling out a project is probably one of the best feelings that I've ever had, knowing that you've built something so strong and you helped form this community of people all gathering towards a common kind of belief and a common goal that they want to be building with the project. So not just watching them, but with the project is kind of very rewarding.
So Nicky, thanks for coming on and kind of giving me an idea of your background and also how you can actually kind of move within the NFT space without having to kind of just necessarily do flips or program or kind of do that art. How can anyone kind of reach out to you and kind of connect and sort of essentially have a chat with you?
Yeah, so my Discord is closed, but I always put out some sort of links either in my description of my YouTube videos, so you can keep track on my YouTube videos, or on Twitter. I kind of open it up every now and then if people want to get in, and then I hold seminars to teach people about all this stuff. So that's one way that you can get in touch with me, and I can show you the ropes.
Awesome. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day, Nicky.
Thank you very much, Nate, for having me.